Hey there, welcome to the show. I'm Tracy Tim, and you are watching the Nth Degree TV, the place to be to take your life, your business, your career from stuck to unstoppable. And I'm so happy to have you here today because today we are talking about step 2 in my program called the Nth Degree Academy. And step 2 is all about your nature. So we spent all of last month talking about now. How do we really build a foundation from where we are right now to get to where we want to be in the future? But in order to move towards the future, we have to have a better understanding of who we are deep down. So steps 2 and 3 in the Nth Degree Academy are really about honing in on your nature and your nurture. And I'm sure you guys, if you've ever watched anything on Oprah or picked up a psychology textbook, you know all about how we are shaped both by our nature and our nurture. And that means we come into the world with some predispositions, but we're always being shaped and molded by our actual exterior environment. And in fact, according to most psychologists, our nature and our nurture are malleable almost all the time. Malleable, that's a big fat word. What does that mean? It just means that we can change our nature if we really want to, if we really want to work hard. But what I've found to be true in my practice, in my own life, with my clients, with the companies that I work with, is that most often, if you want to be a standout success, if you want to get to where you want to go really quickly, and if you want to make a splash in your industry or to just even start doing work you love and stop hating your job, the key really is understanding your nature and realizing that there are, in my mind, God-given strengths and abilities, talents, treasures that you have that you are meant to give back. And if you can find work that takes advantage of those things, you're that much better off. And I know you guys know the difference here, right? You've all had jobs where, I know I have, where you are really trying to be somebody else all day long. It's that proverbial putting a square peg in a round hole. And it doesn't work for anybody, right? It doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for the company, and you end up kind of fizzling out when in reality, that job probably wasn't even for you in the first place. But sometimes with my clients, I find that it's really hard for them to figure out deep down what is their nature, because as you guys might already know, it's such a catch-22. Things that come naturally to you aren't obvious to you because they come naturally to you. It's really cyclical, but it's always easier for somebody else to look at you and say, oh, I love the fact that you're always good at solving problems, or you're so good at mediating between two different people, or you're such a gifted writer, when, mediating between people is something you've done since you were a little kid, so maybe you don't even think about it anymore. Or writing is something that you do in your spare time because you really enjoy it, so you don't even realize it's valuable to other people. So one of the first things that I do with my clients is help them figure out, who am I? Who am I deep down? And we do that in a lot of different ways. So these next several videos are going to talk about a lot of those different ways. Today, we're going to talk about how to mine your story to find your unique space. And SPACE, for me, is an acronym, S-P-A-C-E. Yes, I can spell. But SPACE is an incredible acronym to help you figure out, okay, how do I look at my life story and figure out what are my unique strengths and what are my unique gifts? So S in SPACE is literally your story. I make my clients write out every 5 years of their life since they were born, right? That's your story. It's 0 to 5, the who, what, when, where, why. 6 to 10, who, what, when, where, why. 11 to 15, who, what, when, where, why, right? Until you get to where you are now. Everything gets written down. And it gets written down because this is such an easy step to skip. Because you're like, I already know myself, Tracy. I don't need to write down my entire life story. I can just think about it. False. False, false, false. You have to write these things down. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to see objectively what about those pieces of your story, what about those parts of your life are really unique and true to you and special about you. What are those talents and gifts that have been, present in you since you were 5, 6, 7 years old that maybe you just forgot about, or maybe you didn't realize were awesome gifts or would be valuable in the workplace someday. So go back and start with your story. Get that whole thing down and mine it for really cool stuff. So P, A, C, and E are the really cool stuff. P stands for your passion points. Kind of like a double. If any of you guys play categories, I get that double P? You know what I'm talking about. I'm such a nerd. Okay, so P is your passion points. Look at your story and figure out what lights me up. What was I doing between 0 to 5 where I just didn't even care? Time went away and I just soared. I was just in the flow. And then what was I doing between 6 and 10 where, God, I just loved every single minute of it. I could be doing it all day, every day. And then maybe in middle school and high school, what was it that you did that you just weren't getting paid to do, right? You didn't maybe get extra credit for it, or National Merit Scholar points or whatever. It was just things that you did that you were so in love with and so passionate about. What are your passion points, your values, your heart? What really matters to you? So that's P. What are your passion points in your story, and how can those start to inform you as to what your nature is, what your unique talents and gifts are, okay? The next one, A, is your aptitudes. So passions are things that really, really light you up. Your aptitudes, A, are things that you're naturally gifted at. So what came easy to you when you were growing up? Was it math? Was it science? Was it making new friends? Was it talking to strangers, which you shouldn't do when you're super little, but you know what I mean, right? Getting along with people that you don't know really well. For me, I was an only child, so I really developed the gift early on of getting to know people really quickly and sort of ingratiating myself with new people and not being lonely anymore. But what are your major aptitudes? What personality, what skills, what interests just sort of came naturally to you? And again, look at each major stage in your life and try to figure out what unique aptitudes were obvious in that stage. Okay, so that's A. C is all about your community. Your community. Who were you surrounded with at each of these crucial points in your life, and who really made you a better person? Who were those, you guys have heard this before, right? You're a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So who were those people in each stage of your life, and how did they shape you, and how did they form you? How did you find that community in the first place? Was it given to you? Did you go seek it? Think about your support system. Think about school. Think about your past work experience. Think about how you relate to other people. That is gold right there. There's so much hidden treasure and talent within your community. So mine your story, C, for your community. And then lastly, E is your expertise. Your expertise. So this is a little different than your aptitudes, right? What comes really naturally to you. Your expertise is all about what you've learned over time that now you are a rock star at. Total rock star. And actually, your expertise is really a sum of your passion points, your aptitudes, and your community, right? Because all of those things have shaped you into the person that you are now. So can you look at your whole story and can you see, what could I reasonably call myself an expert in? Maybe you don't have formal education in it, or maybe you don't have a certification, right, or a degree, but what are you just so damn good at that people are like, I always go to Tracy to get X, Y, and Z, right? I always come to her to get relationship advice, or I always come to her to get career advice, or I always come to her when I'm having an issue with conflict between my friends, right? What are the things that you are a natural gifted expert at? And really, really, I'm telling you guys, write this stuff down. Circle it, highlight it, get all your, pens and colored stuff, like get out there and do it, because this stuff is gold and it is going to be your launch pad for the rest of your life and the rest of your career. So again, S for your story, P for your passion points, A for your aptitudes, C for your community, and E for what? Your expertise, right? And then you will have an excellent start to figuring out your unique nature and where you can take it from here. So now I want to hear from you, okay? In the comments below, or better yet, go on over to tracytim.com and tell me what you think. What part of your story do you think really represents your nature the most? What passion points or aptitudes or community moments get you the most fired up about your future, because you're like, that is totally me? So leave a comment. And then of course, if you like this video, which I did, I hope you did, please subscribe to the channel below, right, on that big red button. There should also be something maybe here or here. I'm still figuring out YouTube, so bear with me. Of course, most importantly, if you like this video and you found this useful, please share it with your friends. You never know the impact you can have on somebody's day, somebody's life, just by sharing something that was really meaningful and valuable to you. So get out there, get sharing. And then if you want even more goodies from me, or if you just want to be one of the VIPs that's the first one every week to get my awesome videos, then go on over to tracytim.com and subscribe for email updates. That is all we have here for you today. Thank you so, so much for being here. Love you, love your support. I just want you to never, ever forget, you deserve to love your work, and the world deserves to have you awake and alive at work. So keep working hard, because one day you can stop hating your job and start loving your life. I promise. I'll see you guys next time. All right, testing out the lighting. How are we looking today? How's the microphone? How we doing?